Æ, Guðrún Bergmann hér og velkomin í þáttinn til mín. Eins og vanalega þá byrðið um að smetla á like eða subscribe og kannski bæði ef þið líkar efnið sem til umræðu hérna. En þessi þáttur verður á ensku vegna þess að ég er með gest hérna sem heitir Megan Mbengue og hún er frá Bandaríkjunum, svo við ætlum að tala hennar tungumál. Welcome Megan to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Nice to have you here. I'd like to ask you a little bit. You're going to be speaking at the Hemp conference in Reykjavik.
Yes.
Which is like a plant medicine.
Yes, it's all about plant medicine that includes cannabis and some psychedelics, some mushrooms too.
Okay. So would you like to introduce yourself to everyone who's listening so they'll know where you're coming from in your life?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my name is Megan Mbengue. I'm the founder of EntheaCare. I'm a registered nurse. I have a master's degree in medical cannabis therapeutics, and my company teaches people how to use both cannabis and psychedelics as medicine. So we're involved in research and advocacy and education, and we also developed a really high quality therapeutic line of hemp products that we can offer to consumers. And I'm hoping to be able to bring some of those to share next week.
Okay, that's exciting. Tell me about, you're in California. What are the regulations like there?
Regulations are crazy in California. So in California, there are two different industries. There's the cannabis industry and there's the hemp industry. I operate mostly in the hemp industry. The cannabis industry, that's like typically mostly higher THC content products. That's heavily regulated and heavily taxed. I mean, like 40% tax. There's the very expensive products. And then there's the hemp industry, which is a lot of the unregulated gray market, some of the synthetic cannabinoids, but also the medicinal full spectrum CBD products that people are using for their epilepsy and for their cancer, and children are using for autism, and elderly people are using for pain and insomnia. And that's the unregulated side, but they are trying to throw some pretty harsh regulations on that side and ban any amount of THC in those products. But the research shows that we need a small amount of THC to help the CBD to work its best.
It's kind of like a combination of the two.
Yeah.
You mentioned so many, many, how should I say, many people, different at different levels of their health, like young people, children and older people,
yes,
people in between. So it seems to work very well with a lot of people, for a lot of people.
Yeah. We've seen, we have 2-year-olds with cancer using high doses of CBD and THC. We have elderly patients with dementia and chronic pain using CBD and CBG and THC. And these are people who are using this medicine safely and effectively, and they're either coming off of their pharmaceuticals or not having to add any more pharmaceuticals. And they're thriving in life.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I wish this would be here in Iceland too. I have great belief in the CBD products because I've been using them, and I kind of prefer that to for example, the CBD paste to painkillers, over the counter.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's proven to be safer than a lot of painkillers, especially when we look at long-term use. Long-term use of something like Tylenol and ibuprofen can cause organ damage. We're not seeing that with CBD and CBG.
Now, is it because of the what do we call it?
Endocannabinoid system?
Endocannabinoid system, yeah.
Yeah. And it's because these molecules, all it is a molecule. These interact with our endocannabinoid system, and they help us with our pain, anxiety, inflammation. They act on multiple receptor sites throughout the body. So that's why it helps with multiple things. It's not just snake oil. It's like there's science behind it.
Yeah. It's interesting that you mentioned snake oil because that's what many things have been called here as well as in the States. So yeah, we're hopefully coming through that.
Yes. Yeah. And that's a little bit what my talk is going to be about, talking about how cannabis is not a pharmaceutical. It's very different. It's a botanical medicine. Cannabis plant has hundreds of molecules in it that all, combine together to work inside our body. Whereas a pharmaceutical is a single molecule, there's a single receptor target. And the research, the randomized controlled trials that they use as the gold standard, that looks at the pharmacological effect of that single molecule. Yeah. Whereas when we look at cannabis research, we want to be looking more at patient outcomes. Are the patients improving? Are they sleeping better? Do they have less pain? Do they have better quality of life because they're using this? We're not so concerned about which molecule is causing which effect in our body, but are they doing better? And are they safe?
Yeah, that's the other part. Are they safe? Because a lot of drugs are not safe.
Correct.
We have a lot of side effects that are causing harm to people. So this is an extremely interesting topic. And you'll be speaking, do you remember whether you're speaking on the 2nd or the 3rd?
I believe it's day 2, which I think is October 3rd.
Yeah. So, yes. But you're going to be there throughout the conference, aren't you?
Yes. Yep. I arrive on the 1st at 6:30 a.m. and yeah, I'll be there throughout the whole thing. And I speak and then I'm on a panel right after I speak too. Kind of talking about the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But people can ask you questions.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. Which is wonderful because you have much more experience in this than we have in Iceland. And we're trying to kind of break through to get more legalization here so that it can be used as the type of medicine you're talking about. How does this work on ADHD?
Oh, ADHD? It can work really well for ADHD. Cannabis specifically, what it does and something interesting that I have seen in my practice is that those with ADHD will take small amount of THC and it will help them focus because it kind of slows down the thought processes in the brain and then allows people, to process. Whereas those without ADHD, it makes it more challenging to focus because again, it slows things down. And when you're not hyper, when you're kind of functioning at a normal speed, it slows it down to like too low. And then you're like, it's almost easier to get distracted because your brain is slower in that regard.
So you do a lot of research through your company?
Not a lot, but we have done some research. So we researched one of our products, our CBD suppositories. We researched those on period pain and found that those whole plant, full spectrum suppositories decreased period pain by an average of 55% in those who suffered. And then they also helped with things like focus and mood and cramps, headaches, and nausea. And then I'm also involved in CHS research, and CHS is cannabis hyperemesis syndrome. This is a syndrome that people can develop if they are chronic, heavy, high THC users. Yeah. So I was involved in collecting the largest data set to date on CHS, and both of those papers are in peer review.
But I think the easing period pain is like, I go back in my mind to the time when I had cramps and felt awful during this, part of the month or part of my life.
Yes.
So 55% is huge.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. And we have endocannabinoid receptors and we have other receptors like in our vaginal canal and in our uterus that interact with CBD and THC and those pain pathways that bring down the pain, the inflammation, the spasms that just kind of help relax that whole area. And suppositories are kind of like, call it an edible for your hoo-ha because it relaxes the uterus.
Yeah. It used to be chocolate for me.
Of
course, it was a make-believe
that
it eased the pain, but that was the way in which you know, I thought, okay, I'll have some chocolate. This is a chocolate day or something.
Yes, absolutely.
It was interesting because what happened every time I had a period is that I was lucky enough to own a clothing company at the time and a retail store. And because I had to have a pair of trousers that were one size bigger than normal during the period, and then back again.
Yep.
So it shifts the body and everything in so many ways. So I so look forward to listening to what you have to tell us at the conference and look forward to meeting you in person.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be going to Iceland in a week.
Yeah, and we'll work on the Northern Lights for you.
Thank you.
If possible. That can happen like this, so it can happen anytime.
I'm going to manifest it.
Yeah, oh, please do. Yeah, I'll help you.
Okay.
Look forward to seeing you next week.
All right. You too.
Yeah. Wonderful. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you.